Welcome back, warriors. My name is Kiara, for those who are new to my channel. In my channel, we discuss a lot about mental health content, mental health related subjects. I do always make sure that if they are a deeper subject, to put trigger warnings, because some of these topics we do discuss are a bit more in depth and have, it could be really triggering. So I always make sure that I give that warning ahead of time. I am not at all a mental health licensed professional. So a lot of my videos is just off of experience, off of what I've been through, what I've taught myself, because I am self-taught in the subject. And I also wanted to say, if you've never watched any of my videos before, take a look at them. If you like them, please like, share, subscribe, press the bell notification if you don't want to miss a video. Sorry ahead of time because there's always shit going on around here. I never know why. Alright. So, and there's also a lot of planes that go by, so whatever. But I just thought this was a cute setup because of my little candles, whatever. Alright. So I also wanted to stress that this is a safe space, so I'm all about respect, positive vibe, good energy. I do not tolerate any ignorance, any disrespect, any hate. I'm not about it. So yeah, with that being said, let's dive right in. So today's topic, I wanted to discuss recovery, right? Also, like, recovery from addictions, recovery in general, right? Because you don't have to be in a life and death situation to choose healthier choices or a healthier route, right? So I wanted to start off by saying that for me, recovery is something that is extremely challenging. It's something where there are days you're going to have your good days and days that are not going to be so good, right? And I think it's really important to recognize that recovery isn't from one day to the next. You're not going to wake up one day and be like, okay, I'm all better. It takes time. It takes time to learn your body, to learn when your body needs that certain thing, right? And it's really important to recognize that. So if we're talking about addiction specifically, whether it's alcohol, any other kind of drug, right? Your body feels like it needs it. It's a necessity. Like, if you don't have it, you feel, sometimes it gets to the point where you feel you just want to die. Honestly, people get to that point where you feel like you are not worthy without this thing that you cling on to. Although it may be causing you all kinds of pain, all kinds of distraught, and it could break everything in your life apart. Yet for some odd reason, we cling on to these things, okay? It could be relationships, it could be alcohol, it could be cigarettes, it could be any other kind of drug or thing that sucks the best out of you. And when I was in my journey to recover from my depression and anxiety, I'm still in that process. And I think for me, it's not something I feel like I am going to get out of completely. I think I've just learned to live with it. I would like to think that at some point I'm not gonna deal with depression and anxiety, but I feel like sometimes especially when it comes to mental illness, it's more about learning how to live with it, because it's not something like you can just quit. You can quit the way you cope, with it, like the unhealthy coping mechanisms, but you can't really, it's not you're like, okay, I'm gonna quit today being depressed. It's not as easy. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, because, you know, they're like, oh, just snap out of it, just feel better. Like, don't you fucking think I'm trying to feel better? Like, oh, I never fucking thought about that. Like, good idea, I'm gonna try that. Like, it's they don't understand that that's not how it works. It's more about trying to find ways to cope with these feelings, emotions in a healthier way. But there are times where you're gonna slip up, and there are times you are going to feel like you are a failure, because you're gonna find yourself that sometimes you'll take 5 steps forward and take 1,000 back, and it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, it's as tough as it is to say, because we all want it to be easy, right? It's not. And the reason I'm making this video is because a lot of my depression and anxiety stems from my childhood traumas, and I grew up with an alcoholic father. And it affected me to my core. It was something that, honestly, at the age of 5, you know, I was exposed to alcohol. Like, it wasn't anything new. I'd see it at parties. I just thought, this is something everyone does. This is what all the grown-ups do. It's normal. There was never a party I'd go to without, you know, La Coronas and the Heinekens and all that. There was always alcohol around me. And I feel like that's why now, you know, I'm 23, going to be 24, and I'm just like, I don't find anything amusing about alcohol, to be honest. I feel like, you know, I'm not saying I don't drink here and there, but to me, it's not something where I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, this is, you know, it's just like, I'm over it. Like, I had my time, you know, where I was drinking a lot in my college, like my freshman, sophomore year of college. And then I realized, like, that wasn't a route I wanted to take. I knew how much alcohol damaged my family, damaged my parents' relationship, and most importantly, how much damage it caused my father. And it was really hard for me to accept that I couldn't fix him. No matter what I did or what I wanted to do, there was no way I could fix my dad. And I don't know if you know that pain of wanting to fix someone, because that's literally your world, and not being able to. And I had to really deal with that and sit with those emotions. And then now that I'm older, I realized that it wasn't my fault. I wasn't any less of a daughter because I couldn't fix them. And these were just feelings that I internalized that caused me to spiral and go down a road of depression. And, you know, I was hurting myself, cutting myself, you know, my suicide attempts. It all revolved around my childhood traumas. And now that I'm older, I realize that I can only control so much, right? And where I'm leading with this is, mind you, this is something that I wanted to so hard fix for so long. And then at some point, I just kind of let it go, where I was like, I'm gonna leave it in God's hand now. I can't do anymore. Because at some point, it was really causing me so much mental distress that I just couldn't put myself through that. And let's just say my dad told me how he's now trying to stop drinking. And when I heard that, it was, oof. It filled me with a lot of hope that maybe this was gonna happen now. It's not my place to expose everything because I can't really speak for him, but I think where I'm trying to go with that is no one can change unless they want to change. You can't change someone. They need to want to change. And I had to learn that through not even my relationship with my father, through my relationships, through the relationship with myself, you know, where I would have never been able to be where I am now if I didn't choose to go down the road of recovery. And that looks different in many ways. Whether you're going to therapy, whether you're taking medication, recovery is different for everybody depending on what you're going through. But it all goes back to the same thing of healthy choices, healthier changes, knowing your body and knowing when it needs that extra love, that extra care. And sometimes we are so busy focusing on other things that we forget to tend to ourselves. But I think most importantly is, if whatever bad habit or whatever addiction, whatever you stopped doing or allowing to take from you, I am proud of you, because it takes a lot to recognize when there's something you need to fix within yourself. That takes a lot of strength. That's that step. It's the first step, and the most important step is recognizing. From there, you need to learn to accept. Once you recognize, you need to accept that, okay, I have an issue and I'm willing to put in the energy to try to get myself to a better place. For me, my recovery wasn't, I just was like, oh yeah, I'm depressed and I'm just going to I literally, when I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, I looked at the woman in the face and I literally, like, my whole face was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You're trying to say I'm depressed? Like, who the fuck are you? Excuse my language. But that was literally, I was angry, because I was like, how dare you try to tell me, you don't know my life, you don't know what I've been through, you know? And I feel like you get really defensive. For me, that was my reaction. I got really defensive. I was like, who are you to tell me what I have? Like, you don't know me. So that, not willing to accept. And after that, through some time and kind of I feel like educating myself on what it was. Because that's what my father said too, that now he's trying to like read more about and watch more videos about alcoholism. So I feel like for me, when I started reading more about mental illness and depression, anxiety, I was like, wait a minute. It kind of makes sense what she was saying. And then that's what leads you to acceptance, right? Understanding your body, understanding your mind, understanding why is it that you go to this certain thing when you're feeling a certain kind of way, right? Why do you go, what causes you to smoke? What causes you to drink? What causes you to self-harm? What is it? Understanding what is it that's making you choose that choice, right? Make that choice. And after that, I think once you learn to recognize and accept, you need to just kind of take it day by day, right? For me, it was like, oh, okay, we'll try this. We'll try medication. We'll see how I feel about it. We'll try to go to therapy. We'll try to go to, groups, like attend different groups or get involved. So I think once you do those first two steps, everything else, you'll find your rhythm. But it won't be easy. It won't. Because there are times where you're gonna be tired. You're not gonna want to put in the work anymore, but you need to remind yourself that one reason why you chose to do it in the first place. Don't allow those bad days take you back to those days that were even worse. And I think there were many times where I would just get frustrated I would just be like, well, I just did all this work and I'm back to where I am. Like, this is so, I would get so frustrated with myself. But I didn't realize all the progress I was making along the way, even if I had that minor setback. It's not about that minor setback. It's about the progress you've been making. If you fall, just pick yourself back up. It's not the end of the world. Everyone relapses. That's not nothing new. That's part of the process. Some people are able to do it and great, awesome. But if you slip up, don't beat yourself down. Just try to do better the next day and the day after that and the day after that. I think the most important thing is just really the way you would support a friend through an addiction or through something. It's the same way you should be treating yourself. If your friend's like, oh, I messed up, you're not gonna be like, wow, you're the worst fucking person in the world. Like, no, you'd encourage them. You tell them it's okay, like, we got this together. Like, you have to, the way you would tend to others, you need to do for yourself. Especially in a process like this. That's going to be difficult, that's not going to be the easiest, but you're doing it. And if you have been sober for a couple days, or a couple months, or years, I am proud of you, because that takes so much strength, so much courage to be able to do that. And I hope that even if you fall or slip up, that you're able to forgive yourself and remind yourself why you chose to go down this route of recovery. I really can't stress enough that for me, it wasn't easy, and it's still not easy. I think one of the hardest things for me is living with that fear of, what if I go back after how far I've come? But I've let that go. I don't try to let fear get the best of me, because I know that despite even if I do go back, or if I do, I know that my progress where I am now is gonna take so much to take me back there again. And I can't think negative. I can only think positive and think about the now. Don't think about the future, don't think about the past, think about the now and what steps you're gonna take in order to be in a better mindset, in a better place mentally, in a better place where you're able to be so confident in yourself and the progress you've made. Despite the voices around you, it does not matter, because people will try to bring you down. People will try to bring you back to toxic cycles and toxic habits. But no one can force you to do anything you don't want to do, because only you have the power to do that. So with that being said, I am so proud of every single one of you who are trying to make healthier choices and live a better life, because it will all be worth it in the end. Sending all my love, sending all my strength. Love you.